Thrive, it is time to take action. Hello, everyone. This is Jen, and you are listening to Thrive by Jen Radio on Transformation Talk Radio. What is the result of thriving? Body confidence, mind fulfillment, and soul synchronicity. Tune in to hear about these elements and the scientifically and spiritually proven action steps to stand in confidence, love from within, be unstoppable in fulfilling your dreams, and create synchronicity so you can flow toward abundance and love. Hear real stories that will inspire you to take action today and be a catalyst for positive change in this world through creating your own Thrive life. Let's do this. Feel empowered and ignite your soul with Thrive by Jen Radio starting now.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. I am super excited to be here this week. I'm going to introduce my guest in a split second. I just want to give you a little background about what brought us together and what our goal is, what we want to accomplish today. So starting today and over the next few weeks, I'm going to tackle the topic of, I'm going to focus on adult bullying, but my guest Patrick today, and we are going to definitely talk about, I know some kid bullying as well. But I brought this up because over the past week, I personally was bullied on Facebook, and it was a public post. It was lies and not nice, and what I do is part of my way of dealing with this is to bring it to light, to bring it into the forefront, and for us to talk about it. Because if it's happening to me, I know it's happening to other people. And what was interesting was I reached out to many people and asked for some input, and so many of you reached out to me, and adults that were reaching out and shared with me that they have been bullied, they are currently being bullied, and I thought, then let's start bringing together some experts. Let's start talking about this, and let's see what we can do, and talk about some solutions. So I am so pleased to present to you today my guest, Patrick Kansing, he is really his focus is martial arts, but he's an expert in dealing with bullying and giving people tools, both physical and emotional. You talk about being a peak performance expert, peak performance coach, and Patrick and I have been talking, and I just love what he has expressed in how to deal with this. So we're just going to dive right in. But Patrick, thank you so much for joining me here today, because it was last minute, and I'm so excited.
Awesome. What's up? Good vibes.
That's right. That's right. So, all right. So let's dive in. Give me a little bit. I want to first talk about. Let's talk about you. I just want the audience to get to know you, your background a little bit, and your expertise.
Okay. Well, my occupation is obviously I'm a professional martial arts instructor, small business owner, entrepreneur for the last 17, 20 years. Originally, I was a nursing major turned computer programmer, but always in my heart was to teach martial arts. I had some great influence in my life of men, men who influenced me, because I'm the son of a single parent. So my mom raised me and me and my sister on her own, put herself through med school, and so through her example, wow. I learned how to be resilient, and through the influence that I had of my first martial arts instructor, teachers, coaches that I had, and then eventually when I moved here to the East Coast, I was fortunate to meet my belated teacher who passed away in 2017, head of the Sayak tribe, which was Bamanaton Krisak. And that's where it took me on this journey of personal development. It wasn't necessarily the martial arts that put me in this voyage, but it was more so that was the tool in the vehicle. But really, my purpose is to empower people's lives through the martial arts and help them become the best versions of themselves.
I love that. I love that. So let's dive into your experience with seeing bullying, helping people through it. Can you share with us first? I want to bring to light for our audience, there's so many things, there's so many ways that bullying looks like, right?
Sure.
So let's talk a little bit about that. What, in your experience, what has it looked like for people?
Okay. Um, for children, obviously, you see the physical, and even adults, physical, the mental abuse, verbal abuse involved. Now, with the advent of technology, cyberbullying, and everything like that. I mean, back in the days, when we just had phones, I remember, me and my sister uh, getting bullied on the phone. Like, people would somehow get our phone line and call us and prank call us. So
Yeah.
even that is an example. There's social bullying, succumbing to peer pressures. So those are things that I see prevalent in today's society, especially because of kids, what they're going through. But it's really, it starts at the top, which is usually the adults and parents.
Yeah, which that was part of what drove me to bring this to light, because I was like, here we are as adults doing this, right? And where, like, that's where our kids are learning it from. I mean, one of the places where, right, we need to be role models and show that we're behaving in a way that's loving it and for others. So you're right. So let's I want to talk a little bit about, you talk about martial arts being a tool, but let's talk about the mindset a bit.
Sure.
What are some of the things that you can share with people and talk about with children and adults about, like, all right, here, let's use me for an example. So this happened last week. At first it stings. Like, it really stings.
hmm
So what happens then?
So, I mean, obviously, if if one is not self assured,
Mhm.
okay, it's very easy to feel like someone's uh, offending us or crossing the line with us, okay. Um, because again, we are our worst enemy. One of the things that I teach is, are my students going to learn a highly effective self protection system? Without a doubt. But really, I'm teaching them to protect themselves against themselves. Self doubt, laziness, procrastination, settling for second best, um, lack of self trust. Those are the things that it permeates in our life. And if a person has those kind of things, we can easily be offended by people's words. Imagine just words, the meanings that we put to people, whether it's in verbal form, whether it's written form, cyber form. Okay, we can easily be offended, and we have the ability to control that. We have the ability to, you know, the analogy. Hey, this is my game board. Okay, I make the rules of my game board. You're just a little token piece on the board. And if I don't like how you're playing, hey, I don't have to play with you. But we choose to engage because we want to prove the other person right, ourselves right and
Yes.
the other person wrong.
Yeah, you're right.
That's where the self preservation comes into occur, where we want to look good and we want to avoid looking bad, when really it's all in here.
Mhm. You're
You
so
know,
right with that. I want to, and that's brilliant that you brought that up, because when I had engaged, I had, and we'll talk about this because this is so important, but, and you and I talked about tribe, and I have a tribe. So I called up a couple of people in my tribe, and it was interesting because one of them said to me, well, did you write back? Like, what did you say back? And I said, no, I said, it's not about, it's not about, it's clearly that what they wrote was slander and were lies and not true. But I just, I don't want to engage in that. I don't want
sure,
to. However, though, you're right in that I did want to scream from a mountaintop. Like, can you, like, do you see this? Do you see what's,
of
like,
course,
this is ridiculous. Um, but it's definitely, uh, but I took a minute, right? And well, let's talk about some of the steps. And what maybe you share with in your teaching is that I took a minute, I took a deep breath, I did dip into that self assurance that I have. I did, right? I did say to myself, like, this isn't true.
sure.
And this isn't right. This is, most of the bullying, most of the words are not true.
hmm
And so you have to dip into that confidence that you have, that you've worked on building up. And and what do you share with your what do you share with your kids and your adults? Do you, I don't know, take a breath? Do you swallow it? What do you do?
I'll share with you a 3-step formula that I share with kids and adults, and it's worked for me on a physical level and a
Awesome.
verbal level.
Awesome.
So think of the word stop.
Okay.
Okay. Like, I make the kids physically put their hands out like this and say stop, because, if physical confrontation, even adults, 83% or 80 or 85% of our communication is through body language. The rest is through what comes out of our mouth and the way we say it, right? So if we put the emphasis in our body to say stop, or pause in our mind, take a step back. Okay, if, like in the martial arts, if we're at a fighting range where we're both hitting each other, why stay there? Why stay there? Stop. Now, the second part is, taking responsibility. Stop, and recognize, hey, I'm too angry to talk right now. Recognize and being responsible for your feelings. Okay, instead of me blaming you that you caused me to feel a certain way, I'm going to take responsibility. Stop. I'm too angry to talk right now. I need to cool off. So you're going to back off to a fighting range where there's no consequence to their words or physical actions towards you. Okay. And then, that's where I need to cool off. That's the third part. Just take a moment to think about what has actually gone on. And where am I standing right now in this place of upset? Is it where that person is standing, or is it where I'm standing? Right. Usually it's where you are standing. So taking that personal responsibility, very, very important, okay, to recognize it. So again, stop. I'm too angry to talk right now.
Yep.
That's yourself. And I need to cool off. That's taking responsibility for action before you say something that you might regret. Okay. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah. You know what we'll do? Let's take a quick commercial break, and when we get back, we can jump right into this. You're listening to Thrive by Jen Radio on Transformation Talk Radio. Hey, welcome back to Thrive by Jen Radio on Transformation Talk Radio. We are chatting today with Patrick Consing. And Patrick, let's dive right back in. So the 3 steps. One is stop, and you brought it up during break. It's a pattern interrupt. So it's a way for us to change brain, what happens in our brain. So you're saying the word stop, you're changing your physical body.
Yes.
The second step is to recognize that you're upset, that this is happening. And then the third step is take a moment to cool off. Totally. Before responding.
Yes. I mean, obviously this works in many levels where if the physical threat was right in front of you, that cycle would be happening very, very fast.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's what, if you study the OODA loop, Boyle's OODA loop, where, airplane fighters have this way of observing themselves in their actions and their thoughts and their feelings. That's one way. So being able to recognize that, hey, I'm upset. Mm-hmm. Okay. But then taking the third part, taking responsibility and just using the word cool off, whatever that means for a person. Again, step back from a range where you can't get hit. There's no consequences to the physical strike or even a verbal confrontation.
I want to share with people too, because you bring up a good point with the whole cooling off. So when this happened with me, I felt like it happened fast, right? Because I discovered it. My physicalness changed, my physical body changed, my emotional state changed.
Sure.
And so I did go into these steps, and what was interesting about the cooling off period was it brought me back to my physical self. Like I felt back to being grounded, where when the emotion was happening, I felt like I was literally flying in the air because I was so hyped from it happening. Mm-hmm. And then I gave me a moment to realize that that I control me.
Totally.
And what they did was, it's awful what people are doing, and people, you and I were talking on break, that bullying is a serious, serious, serious matter. People, I mean, there are people are taking their lives because of this. This is a big deal. And so, but it gave me that moment of taking back, me, what was mine, and mine are my emotions, and saying, like, okay, like, what can I do about this? And so let's talk a little bit about, because you brought something up so important to me on our conversation, was about tribe. And
Sure.
I really want to talk about that, for especially for our adults, because I feel that when we become adults, our friends scatter. We maybe don't
Totally.
have as deep of friendships as we did when we were children.
Hmm.
So kick it off for me. What is the whole what does that mean?
So for us, I belong to the Sayak tribe, which is a Filipino martial arts family that was started by my bladed instructor, and it grew not only to, like, just his group of students, but we in turn became his family and very, very close. So he taught us how to preserve and protect and provide for our own family, so that together we prepare as a unit. So what the world knows as self-protection, um, or the word self-defense, it's not just in the physical realm. Are you protecting each other emotionally, socially, financially, spiritually, whatever that may be for a person, uh, mentally, intellectually? Are you preparing each other? Are you protecting each other? Are you providing and nourishing each other? And, really having each other's back, and it's not a marketing term that, like, people tend to use it as today. They could use it as an event. Like last night, there was the Super Bowl, right? There was two tribes going against each other, LA Rams and Patriots. I bet you today, all those fans are not united in any other way, other than
Right.
that game. So they'll like to say that they call them tribe, but can you call on any of the tribe members at any point of day, just to even talk? Or are you out on an island by yourself, not communicating, hiding, not sharing, not being transparent with your strengths and things that need to get stronger in your life?
Sure.
So are they watching your back, as, or what we say, watching your six? Do they have your best interest? Will they tell you the hard things in life that you need to hear? Will they also support you? You know, and help you figure out solutions that you might by yourself might not figure out. So the whole concept is, by myself I can run so far to deliver a message, but if I have a whole tribe or an army behind me, imagine the force multiplier of that message could be sent out there, and therefore affect the room, whichever room we walk into, in a short amount of time. That's what
Sure.
we consider tribe.
Okay. And so, do you think that it's important for us as adults to, at a minimum, maybe find, right, 3 or 4
Yes,
people that
without a doubt. Find your tribe and
that's
love them
find your
hard.
tribe?
Yeah, find your
And
tribe and love them hard. I'm telling you,
yeah.
it could be your family. It has to be people, obviously, you trust, people who you can rely on. But you, in turn, must attract that. You must be trustworthy. You must be reliable. You must do everything in your power to be responsible.
Mhm,
So that way, the independence that you have as a strong individual, and you come together with another strong individual,
mhm.
our interdependence with each other, we can work together. Because we can build upon each other's strength, not fill the gaps of each other's weakness. We don't want to even think about that. We want to build on each other's strengths. And so it doesn't have to be big. My teacher used to say, you just need one other person to get the job done with you. So
That's
your tribe,
powerful.
you're two, but imagine if you're both trained. And training, we believe that training is the way that unites us. It's a common interest that across the globe, that we have this bond with each other, to make each other stronger. So, it can start with your family, it can start with your siblings, but really having honest conversation with them So that way, there's no gray areas in the room with each other. There's no dark
Sure.
spots in your relationship. You know what
Yeah.
might tick someone off. You know what will light someone up also.
Yep, yep. And so all right, so you brought up something that just, and I want to talk about with the audience, is that that's so important, right? That communication with, even if you say you're you're one person for your tribe. So what's so interesting is what what I named this show series was when your friend becomes your enemy, because that communication is so important, because in this bullying, we have instances where it is your best friend. You might consider that person, right, your tribe, that's your best friend. So it's so important what you said, is that you're kind of going into this tribe, you're going in with this person with that mission, right? And sort of, I feel like you get that's translated so well in martial arts, is that you're going in as a common element.
Hmm.
Right? So I'm
Oh,
saying to so for so as a tool, I'm saying to somebody, look, you're in my tribe. This is what it means. We're going to stick together. I got your back, you have my back. And I think that's important for adults, for because we don't
absolutely.
have that.
It's hard to make your lifelong friends right now at this stage of our
Sure.
lives. Uh,
Absolutely.
so who do you rely on? Who holds your secrets
Yeah.
sacred? Who you know who will be there to listen to you and not judge you, but they will say what you need to hear.
Right.
They will say, like, if I was, if you and I, Jen, were tribe members, I would just look at you and I would say, look, what I'm about to say is nothing that you wouldn't want to hear from your own self.
Right.
You understand that? And then you would get it. You would
Yeah,
get it at that moment that,
for
hey,
sure.
I'm about to tell you something that you want to hear from your own self.
Yep.
So that's where, are we dealing with the person right now, or a person that we're striving to be, our future self. You close that gap of who we are right now and the person that we want to be. That's success.
Yeah.
But realize that you can't do it alone. You
Right.
can't do it alone. With a tribe, you could go far. People who have your back, they can see what you don't see. And the common thing I always ask is, like, if you and I, if there was something that I had to deal with you, I would say, the easy analogy is like, Jen, please describe the back of your head.
Yeah.
Would you be able to do it?
That's right. No.
No. But if I was to describe what was the back of your head,
Yeah.
now I'm being honest. See, without interpretation. And so, like, okay, got it.
Yep.
He has the best interests.
Yeah.
Some people are afraid of that honesty because they don't trust themselves to hear the truth.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And we're not, when we get back from break, I want to go further into the conversation of what you said. You're afraid of that honesty because of the truth, but it's also because you're not being honest, right? We need to be who we want to be surrounded by.
Sure.
So going back to, if I was to retaliate on, here I am, I dislike what somebody just did, and I sure am not going to do what they did. Right. So the whole retaliation on Facebook, when somebody said to me, well, did you go back at it? I'm like, I'm not going to be what I don't want to even see in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take a quick break. And when we get back, I want to dive more into that, because especially for us adults,
Sure.
it's so important. You're listening to Thrive by Jen Radio on Transformation Talk Radio. Hey, welcome back to Thrive by Jen Radio on Transformation Talk Radio. I just want to say first, where you can find Pat. If you go to capatidmartialarts.com, let me spell that for you: KAPATID MARTIAL arts.com. You can find him, because this is important, and we're gonna dive more into this, Pat. So you talk about, we need to act, we need to behave who we want to see in our lives, and who we're going to be, and who we want to attract. And I want to talk more about that, but I also want to say to our audience that that in of itself is an important tool for bullying, because that's part of confidence. Like you said in the beginning of the show, this is about building our confidence, eliminating self-doubt, right? Having
Mhm.
that belief system that keeps us strong, that we know that, okay, we may get wronged, something may happen, and we are stronger than that. And then we dive into one of the support systems is that tribe, having that tribe to rely on. And you brought up something where I just want to highlight for our adults, we may belong to tribes that we don't know. So you're very physical, so there's a physical part of your business, and people who have the same interests in working out, right?
Mhm.
A type of a workout, or so your tribe might be there already. So, right, so it's about reaching out, identifying if you have a common interest, and reaching out to those people, right, and saying, look, be my tribe.
Totally. I mean, you know, it's not like an electoral vote where, hey, I'm the leader now of this tribe.
Yeah.
No, it's not. You grow into that position, or you grow into that power, and it's going to start with the leadership within your own oneself. Are you setting the example for others? That they want to become, and how do you make people feel when you enter the room? When you enter the room, my teacher used to say, there's uh, two ways. There's two smiles that come out of a person when you walk into a room. Either when you walk into a room, the people in the room are happy to see you, or they're happy to see you leave. Those are two happiness that you create whenever you walk into a room, or exit a room. So, uh, like, say for my kickboxing program, my tribe there. I mean, yeah, we used to be like an umbrella of a franchise, but then we found out that they weren't there for the franchise name. They were there because of how they feel around the class, around the instructors, how they feel at the workout. A lot of them have jobs. So it doesn't matter how they feel before class. How did they feel after class? I mean, did they love the ass kicking that they got? That
Yep.
release them of any mental tension, intellectual tension, whatever they might have, physical tension that they have, and release it in the workout. And the words that I always there's two sentences that I want every one of my tribe members to have coming out of my class or any event that I host. Number one, I'm glad I came and overcome any challenges that would stop me from coming. And number two, I can't wait to come back again. So that's what keeps people drawn to you. It's like, think of it like it's like an emotional bank. Are you constantly putting deposits of emotional energy into people's lives, that makes them feel positive of being around you? Or are you constantly taking, withdrawing that they get drained,
Yeah.
so we constantly, we can't rest on our laurels. Every day I'm thankful, and I have the gratitude to to serve my tribe, help them be better. Obviously, I don't do the work alone. I have my team that helps me in the business, and but every day, I do at least one thing, to show my gratitude towards them, whether they see the first order of effects. First order of effects is if I say, "Hey, thank you, Jen." First order effects. But imagine if there's a third order of effects, second, third order of effects. Then all of a sudden, what if by promoting this show, third order effects, boom, this lands you somewhere greater. By sharing. If we got the
Yep.
whole tribe to share this, there's a
Sure.
third order effect. So, I have to constantly think that they're not just there for the workout. That's the first order effect. Second order effect, third order effect is like I make them a better wife, a
Yep.
better husband. I make them a better father or mother. I make them better workers at work.
Yeah.
So that they spread those good vibes wherever room they work in because of the common interests of the tribe that we have. Say even as simple as kickboxing,
And you're bringing up that we're all connected.
without a doubt. I
Yeah.
mean,
So
you and I, how do we connect?
exactly. So I'm going to go out on a limb here, because I want to hear your perspective, and this is something that we haven't spoken about. So let's go back to that bullying, the foundation of bullying, right? So do you feel that, so one, we're all connected. The other is that it's not personal. And I want people to understand that when you're being bullied, that it's the person, right? This is about that person, about what's happening. Like they're taking it out on you, and that by no means is right, and it shouldn't be tolerated. But for me, that has helped me go through, and one of the tools is that is compassion. So I
Sure.
tend to have compassion for the person who's bullying me, for their attacks, because they're in a lot of pain, and they're going through something. And again, it's not okay what they're doing. This isn't a free pass.
Mhm.
This is a tool that I use. Talk a little bit about that, because I want to hear your perspective
Okay.
on that.
I believe bullying's a behavior. It's not a person. Because if I took the lens of my life and I said, and be skeptical of everybody, then guess what? I will have no friends or family or tribe. I have to believe that there is good in everybody who that walks in, but then obviously there's going to be behaviors that are going to be undesirable. So I see bullying as a behavior. Now, if it's a one-time event, I'm not going to, you know, teach or translate it as bullying. Is it consistent? Is it fair? Is it safe? Is it harmful? All those things, those are questions that go into my mind. But if it's consistently doing it, now it's bullying. It's a behavior. That's a flawed character in that individual, that's doing it. And there has to be a root reason why they're doing it. Most of the time they're frustrated themselves. And, one of the things that, my teacher used to say is that a bully is an experienced victim. You know, they're an experienced victim. So they themselves have been subjected to bullying at one point in their life. And so therefore they're causing it on other people. So they don't have that outlet to deal with their emotions in a positive way. They could be depressed in another way, but reaching out in anger
Mm.
towards, being hateful towards this world. Ultimately, what's our goal in life? To be happy. This is the only moment that we have right here, right now. So dealing that straight on as a behavior and not as a person, it again has compassion for that person, that there is good in them, obviously, making them see a different view, that their behavior is not effective to the way they want to communicate with what they actually need or want in their life.
Right. Yeah. And it's that importantness. I think you and I touched a little bit about it, is that we've lost that connection. We've become so self-centered. So, right, and not realizing that,
This.
yeah, it's true. So true. I think I'm older than you, and I thoroughly enjoy telling my kids about, like, putting 10 cents in the payphone, and and realizing that, you know what, I didn't have 10 cents, so no one's getting called today.
That's awesome. I don't even know if kids know how to use payphones these
No,
days.
there's no
You
way.
know, like, how does my app connect to that?
But it's true, and that's stuff that I know you deal a lot with children, and I have kids, so but that's a big but that this whole connection thing is so huge, and that's, again, we're disconnected. That the compassion is missing, because I'm talking through a phone,
Mhm.
right? Or I'm putting something out on social media. So, I can remember as a kid, talking face to face with my friend and watching the emotion on their face of when I'm saying something to them and it impacting me. And it's a lost, right? It's lost. And again too, like, what do we I don't know, what do we do with that personally, as far as, I think that's an important thing for us to remember, if we are getting bullied, or if we're in that situation where having that emotional connection. Maybe it is about talking to the person if it's possible, right?
Mhm.
Sharing with the person. If, let's say, we have a bullying situation at work, like, this is not nice. This is uncomfortable. I don't know, but I feel like that emotional piece is a lot of that's missing nowadays with technology.
Totally. The one thing when it comes down to the bullying is also we allow people to, it's almost like we give people permission to do that to us. You know, that's where the self-doubt, lack of self-assurance come in. And people see that the guard is down, boom, they strike. They strike at that moment. But if they know that you're not the type of person that they should mess with, on a not even on a physical level, but on an emotional level and intellectual level, but someone that they can gain respect from. Okay, that's how. If people thought more like that rather than being a childish behavior and lashing out and whine and cry till they get what they want and complain, that's where people mess up. People mess up right there, because the entitled society and the fast food society, the high tech society of want everything yesterday, rather than being patient in communication, patient in your understanding. Most people listen to reply rather than listen to understand. If we took the time to actually understand, what's going on, and hey, chill out, cool, chill out for a minute, okay?
Yep.
Let's talk about this.
Yeah,
it's that. That's where the whole stop. Hey, you're angry right now. It's time to cool down, okay? And just de-escalate their threat level on an emotional level, physical level, whatever it may be, but to de-escalate that and realize that it's not proportional to the actual scenario that's happening.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We're going to take our last short break, and when we get back, I want to talk. I do want to talk more about that specifically, just so we can talk about adding another tool into our tool shed for dealing this when we come up with these circumstances. You're listening to Thrive by Jen Radio on Transformation Talk Radio. Welcome back. I want to dive right in because we only have about 10 minutes. I want to read something quickly, and I want to bring something up, and I want Pat to because this is to talk about it. It's such an important point. There was a study that was done. An anthropologist went into a tribe, and basically it said that he put a basket full of fruit near all the children and said, first one to get to the fruit basket gets all the fruit. And what the kids decided to do was join hands, run together. And the response was, how can one of us be happy if all the others are sad? And my question to Pat is how do we balance this, right? Because that's beautiful. And we do live in a competitive society, right? Everyone's not going to win. There's going to be, right? There's going to be a winning team and a losing team. How do we balance this in such a competitive world that we live in?
Well, because of the advent of technology and the Instagram, Facebook, social media, and everything like that, everybody tries to post that perfect life that they have on social media. And we tend to easily get triggered or jealous of these things. Man, I want that car. I want that watch. I want that house. But we have to realize that we're not our material possessions. That's what people keep chasing. If they get one car, they're going to want another one or a better one. We're not our possessions. We're not, our achievements. When I reached like my first 5 years of the business, man, I said, oh, that's awesome. That lasted about a split second. Time moves on. So we are not our accomplishments, because we're gonna for the rest of our lives we're gonna keep on accomplishing things. We're not our what we can say, even like our thoughts change all the time, right? Our thoughts time. Like there was a period of time where I dreaded snow. Okay. And now I'm like begging for it so it'll stop playing with my emotions. See, so we're not our emotions. We're not our emotions.
Right. Yeah.
Our thoughts change, our emotions change. You are you. What identity makes up you? What characteristics, what morals, what ethics are you adopting on? Because somewhere in this world, we're the bad guy to someone else.
Sure. And you're highlighting such a good point now, because that deals into bullying. And this is what people need to understand, is that today, Pat and I want to give you the tools for a strong core, a strong belief, a strong determination, right? And so, because that's how you deal with this. This is that bully there's a whole set of other issues going on there, and possibly right, their foundation is chasing who's got more, who's got this, or maybe they're attacking you because they feel you have more.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, usually those who attack you because you do have more.
Right. So you have to. So this is about strengthening you, and you hit on you hit it right. You hit the nail on the head. Is that your identity? So who are you? Right. What do you believe in? Your morals, your ethics. Right.
Yes.
The tribe mentality. Because if you are working from that tribe mentality, right, you're it's the important. The others are important.
Sure. I mean, the whole thing is I draw strength through my training. I draw strength through those that counsel me. I draw strength through the words and advice that of lessons that my teacher had. So if I didn't, then I wouldn't trust in my tribe or trust in the training that has been provided for me. That's where number one, you have to have faith. You have to have faith in your whatever makes you stronger, whatever that may be. Okay, whatever makes you strong, you have to have faith that that's going to work all the way.
Right.
And to realize that why do people get depressed or why do people get anxious? Because they think that their problem or their worry is so original that no one's ever experienced that in the world.
Yes.
No, it's not original. It's not original. There's maps out there of who to follow and how we can overcome the past and conquer the future. Okay. There's people who have walked our path. It might not be the same story, but that's the problem. We like to hold on to our story and say, this is mine. This is my story. My story is right. But if we actually let go of that story that's weighing us down from thinking who we were or thinking why we can't become what we want to become, man, we'd be so free right now.
Totally. And what you said is so important, is that you're not alone, right? You're not alone. So if you are going through a bullying situation, whether it's family, friends, coworkers, you're not alone. And so I think right there, that knowing, I mean, that was something I said to myself when that happened to me. I was like, I'm not alone in this. And I knew to reach out, but at the same time, just knowing that I'm like, what, this is, other people have gone through it, and it's oh, you know what, I'll get through it and it's okay. But you're so right. And we're not our circumstances. Totally. We're not, right? We're not our circumstances. We're not our circumstances. So with just a couple of minutes left, is there anything, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I will put you on the spot. What do you want to leave our audience with? Because you're so wise and you have such great wisdom.
No, thank you. No, number one, have gratitude in your life, because that's a positive word, positive emotions, that positive pictures that go into your thoughts. Our teacher always used to say, "What's the picture that makes you smile?" Constantly create that picture each and every day. And sometimes our picture is so 2D. It's what we out in front of us. But how about if you took a step back and saw the whole picture of you looking at that picture? How about that? Are the people smiling when you enter the room? Are people recognizing you for how you make them feel? One thing with that gratitude is affecting people's lives. And the bullying occurs is when people think that they're alone and they don't communicate to anybody. They're almost shamed that they've gotten themselves into the situation. So what do? They choose to opt out. They self-select themselves from this world. And, both kids and adults doing that, nothing is so bad as it seems. That, you have to end the one rep that you have, which is your life.
Yeah.
And to end it, it's unnecessary. But if you had people to talk to, people that you could go to, both on a personal and professional level, okay, there's comfort knowing that you have access to that. But people cut themselves so far off. Imagine like you're on an island that you can no longer see the shore where everybody else is standing.
It feels terrible. I've done it. It feels awful.
Yeah.
It feels awful. So you're right. I'm going to leave us with that. I want everybody to, if you are experiencing bullying, child, adult, you, like Pat said, you have to reach out to somebody so you don't feel alone, and create that tribe, right? Take that person and just ask them to be my tribe right now to help you to just kind of go through it, right? It may not solve it, but at least get you through it, have that support. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I so appreciate it. You guys, you have to look Pat up. We'll put his website in comments. He is amazing. You are amazing. And thanks so much. Have a great day today. Thank you, everyone.